AITA for saying no to my in-laws taking our kids to Disney. My, M28, wife, F28, and I have 2 daughters, 6 and 5 years old, which is prime Disney age. They're both super into princesses and all that. We've talked about taking them to Disney over the next few years as we know they'd love it. My wife has never been before, and I've only been once when I was 10 years old. It was definitely a memorable trip for me as my family had to save up a while for it. We've always known that Disney would be our big trip with our girls. In July, my Phil got diagnosed with prostate cancer. After a few rounds of chemo and some rather intense stays at the hospital, it's only gotten worse. It's spread across to other organs in his body, and rather than trying to suffer to fight it, he's opted to just not do chemo and try to live with what time he has left. As a result, him and my meal have decided to make more memories with family. One of these memories is to take our daughters to Disney and surprise them with a trip yesterday during Christmas. At first, I thought my wife would be against it as well. We've always said we've wanted to get to experience taking them and seeing their faces. However, I found out that my meal cleared it with my wife last month. My wife didn't tell me because she thought I would be surprised and excited for our daughters. I sat through all of the rest of the night, but when we got home we had a serious discussion about it. I told my wife that I didn't want our daughter's first trip to Disney to be without us. She suggested we go along, but the trip is in February, and booking flights plus hotel plus tickets for just my wife and I for the time they're all going is still going to be almost $5,000. I told my wife that we have to talk to her parents and decline the trip, but my wife is saying that I'm being selfish and heartless by robbing our daughters of this experience and robbing them of a core memory with my Phil before he passes. Am I being out of line here? The action that I took is that I do not want my in-laws taking my daughters to Disney for the first time without my wife and I, and that might make me an asshole as my Phil is currently dying of cancer and this trip was intended to be a memory for my daughters. What do you think about it? Write your comments.